What's going on, guys? It's Zac Perna here, and today's video is very exciting. Today's video is cutting on a budget, so all about fat loss with as little money spent as possible. Now, I have done a couple of bulking on a budget videos purely because they're a little bit easier, because you can buy like fattier cuts of meat and it's all good. But the cutting one's a little bit harder. So what we're gonna do today is I'm gonna go to Aldi, it's the cheapest supermarket near me, and just see what they've got. Whatever's the cheapest thing, I'm gonna kind of wing it, see how I go. But before we get started into today's video, guys, I do wanna say that today's video is sponsored by LifeSum. Now, LifeSum, if you haven't heard of it, I hadn't heard of it and I can't believe it. It is probably the best nutrition tracking app I've ever seen. Now, a little bit about the app. The free version is you can just track macros, track calories, log all your foods, just like a really good food journal. Really easy to use as well, and it's very quick, it's responsive, so I highly rate that. The premium version has a few other benefits, which is what I've downloaded, the premium version, but you do have to pay for it. So if you want a discount, in the description. But basically, a few cool things about the premium version is you have access to all of the recipes in there. Now, there are so many recipes. They look, man, I actually haven't made them yet, but they look sick. But there's heaps of recipes that you can just choose from. You can save them if you want to use them again. And then what you can do is you can put in your details, like age, goal, color of your hair, your dog's name, the relevant details. And then it gives you a indication of calorie markers that you should be hitting and macros as well. Really, really cool like that. It also has food ratings, which I haven't seen before, and I think is really smart because like everybody says, you know, calories a calorie, and then is it? Probably not, because, you know, calories just from sugar versus calories just from protein are gonna be very different in your body. So for example, fat loss diet today, we want our calories to mainly come from protein and fats, just to keep that appetite suppressed and at bay. So high protein is very good for satiety. If you were just to have sugars, as opposed to more like low GI carbs or just protein and fats, but if you were just to have sugars, I guarantee you'd be very hungry very soon. So example for that, if I have like a really sugary bowl of cereal post-workout, which is good, like I think that's good, I will be very hungry and ready to eat pretty soon after that. As opposed to having like a steak post-workout, I'm pretty much good for hours. So it gives you food ratings based on basically how good they are for you and your goal, which I think is really smart, and it's better because it's moving away from just tracking things like robots to actually, how do we get healthier? What's good food? Let's try and eat well and clean. So I'm actually all about it. Oh, and it has the premium version has this like a life score. So like I did the thing this morning, ask you all these questions, and it kind of says like, basically it gives you a score on health. Nailed it. I think it said perfect, but it wasn't perfect, but nailed it. But then it gives you like feedback based on what you need. So it might say you're eating too much salt, cut back on sodium, and it gives you kind of like tips as you go, which is pretty sick. There are a ton of really good features in that. So even like guys on my personalized coaching plan, they can actually use the app and then you can track everything and log it in there. So just to have everything in one place, save the meals, really, really easy. Tracks your exercise, it syncs up with Apple Health, which I use quite a lot, and hence the Apple Watch here. So yeah, highly recommend you guys jump on that. Link is in the description if you want to give it a go. And now I'm gonna go to Aldi and try and stock up on some of the cheapest foods. I'm gonna try and do it in under $50, okay? Whether that's US dollars or Australian dollars, I'm not too sure yet. Last time I did Aussie dollars and people thought it was US, so maybe we'll go 50 US. Okay, anyway, let's go shopping. And she's sad. I'm sorry. So we're back home now. All of the shopping has been unloaded and I've done all of the maths on this. So you can see the receipts there, which basically means that this should come under $50 US per week, okay? So I had to crunch some numbers here. I was getting my accountant on. We figured out for the meals in the day, 1, 2, 3, 4 meals.
I'm not sure I understand.
Fuck you. For 4 meals of the day, I've done the macros using the LifeSum app, and I've also done the calculations using the receipt and how much we've got and how much we're gonna use today. So let me run you through the meals we're gonna do. For breakfast, we're gonna do 2 eggs, 3 egg whites with an English muffin, easy. For lunch, we're gonna do 1 big chicken salad, which is great. It's kind of what I do anyway. Loving it. And then for dinner, we're gonna do a shepherd's pie and with some low carb potatoes. We have them in Australia. If you guys not in Australia, you can just get pumpkin, has like the same macros. Otherwise, just use sweet potato if you want a bit more carbs. And then dessert, we have some yogurt with mixed berries, and we'll chuck a cheeky half scoop away in there just to add a bit of flavor and add a bit more protein. So a few things I'm looking for when doing budget shopping. Frozen vegetables are always cheaper, and they're not even that bad, really. I don't mind frozen veggies, they're convenient. So frozen veggies I like. Beef mince is always good. Just be careful with the fat content. So I'm gonna drain some of the fat out, but that's included in the macros anyway, so it doesn't matter. And then another thing is, yeah, bulk. If you can get anything in bulk or on special, these were just standard bulk chicken breasts. But if you weren't concerned with fat and you were gonna go high calorie, then you could go chicken thighs. Eggs, again, really good, really easy. And I just love eggs anyway, so I tend to keep them in. And lettuces was like a couple dollars each. So I have huge salads, that's why I got a lot. And that is pretty much it. So today's macros is actually really low. So we're hitting around 1,800 calories, and that's, I didn't count like the odd sauce or thing here and there, but it's approximately 1,800, which is probably what I'd end up dieting on. And protein is very high as well, and we're keeping the carbs relatively low. So you guys can adjust this obviously to however you want. Add more, you can add rice to a meal, for example, or more potatoes, and it's so cheap, it's not gonna matter. So if you want to add more calories, add more carbs. So carbs are cheap. Best thing about that, carbs are cheap. So that's why bulking diets are so easy, because you can just load up on rice, oats, potatoes, anything. Bread is even quite cheap, and then you're good. Well, you can make your own bread. You can actually mill your own flour if you grow your own wheat. So imagine if you had to do everything by yourself. We've got a chicken in the back. Give me 1 second. I'm just gonna kill this dude. Hang on. You put up a fight. Anyway, we're gonna start with probably the longest meal it's gonna take, so shepherd's pie. Now, for the shepherd's pie, onion and garlic, and we're just gonna chop this up, fry it first with some leek. And you're gonna need a machete for this too. You just have to. This is what Joel got me for Christmas, or part of it. And only, he knows me too well, because I saw this, I'm like, that's sick. So yeah, machete. If you don't have a machete, regular knife will probably do. Just won't be as good. Oh! Imagine though. I love chopping onion. Yes, make me cry. Yes! Remind me that I'm a little bitch. Yes. So now that's diced up, stick it in the pan, a little bit of oil. Did you guys ever watch a leek spin? If you didn't, look it up. I wonder if it's still there. Catchiest shit ever. Okay, in we go. Clean your machete. So you want this to be heating like Diane Keaton, all right? Very crucial. So the beef mince, this is 2 kilos. We're only using about 1.25, so a little bit over half. Oh, it's a whole slab. Yeah, that's heavy. So we're gonna cook this down, and we may need to drain it a bit later if there's too much fat in there, but we'll see. Now, while the beef is cooking, we can get our potatoes ready. Like I said, if you're using regular potatoes, fine, sweet potato, all good. If you want less carbs, charismas or pumpkin, and with your machete, a couple chops. We're mashing these anyway, so we'll just chop and boil them. And we're using about 1.5 kilos, so that'll be 300 grams per meal. So when I'm dieting, these things are all I have. So filling. And if you want, this sounds so bad, but if you want to be like really full during a diet and you have cravings, just have plain boiled potatoes. I know it sounds ridiculous, but don't air fry them, it'll lose too much volume. Just boil them, bit of salt, like chicken salt maybe, a little bit of low-fat cheese or butter, and it's actually really satisfying. And this is just fun to chop, really. I'm loving this. And if you boil. So the beef is pretty much cooked now, and surprisingly, there's not a lot of fat in there. I'm fine with that. That's acceptable. So we're gonna add in the spices, pepper, salt, bit more salt, cumin, and the hardest sauce to pronounce in your whole life, Worcestershire sauce. Tablespoon of that. Nobody knows what it is, but it's hard to pronounce, so it's gotta be good. Nah, it's actually really strong. Don't go too hard on this. Okay, so now in goes the tomatoes. And here is a beef stock cube and an EHP shaker. Just a little bit of water. Now it's just more flavor, in it goes. So right now that's like super watery, which I'm not happy about. So we just wait a little bit, wait for it to get rid of some water, and then we'll add the veggies in. Mix it about. That was one packet, that's heaps. So I'm just gonna let that kind of simmer just to get rid of all the water. So I think we're fairly safe to do the chicken now while that's cooking. For the chicken, this is the easiest thing ever. All the breasts, throw them in here. Add a bit of your favorite seasoning. For me, I'm using Southern Fried and a little bit of salt and pepper, maybe a little bit of oil, and then bake it for around 20 minutes. And this will work out to be around 220 grams uncooked weight of chicken breast per day. These are big juicy breasts. Hey Siri, set a timer for 20 minutes, you useless robot.
Okay, 20 minutes and counting.
Takes it so well, she's used to the abuse. Potatoes are cooked, which means all good. Now drain your potatoes. Now I'm cheating because I'm gonna put my potatoes in my futuristic blender, Thermomix, and then blitz them with a bit of butter and salt and pepper. In goes the potatoes. And we lost one, no we didn't. Just a knob of butter, bit of peps, lots of salt. Good, so potatoes are done. Gee, that's so good. So good. Ah, so good but so hot. All right, so he's done now. So let's see if we can fit in here. Ooh, that is extremely satisfying. Okay, quick spray of olive oil so it gets that nice crisp top. And into the oven for about half an hour. Okay, so now that all the chicken is cooking, that's cooking, let's do the salad stuff. Super easy. Peel the cucumbers very, very quickly. Like that was real time. I didn't even speed that up. I'm just really good at peeling. We're having about half an avocado per salad. God, I have a chance of literally slicing my hand in half with this. Yes. So now just for convenience, I'm just gonna put all of the raw ingredients for the salad in the bowls because I don't have a big enough bowl for all of this salad. And you guys can just dress it with whatever you want. I do a few different ones, sometimes Japanese style, sometimes just, my favorite honestly is just any relish and Kewpie mayo. Like that is just simple and I just love it. Why every time you go to like an Italian restaurant, you order a salad and this is the size of the tomato slice that it comes in? It's like they've literally just gone, or Greek, I swear, they just go, oh yeah, tomato in the salad? There you go. And what am I supposed to do with a whole half a tomato, a whole half in a salad? You can't eat it like that. Okay, now avocados here are great sources of fats and they just taste, I reckon they taste amazing, especially in salads. But the worst bit is just peeling them when they don't cooperate and it just is disgusting on your hands. Ugh, that feeling, it's like I'm in this avocados business and I shouldn't be there. My thumb should not be there, and it is. And this avocado is about to press charges. Nothing better than a rock hard avocado. It should be called avocado. Edit that out, Zach, that was horrendous. Nope, we kept it in. Game. Now our chicken should be ready, which means we can throw it straight on top. And done. Now I'm not gonna dress these because like I said, use whatever you want, but I will show you my two favorite dressings. One is the Japanese wafu dressing, which you can probably just find in any Asian store. I don't think they do them in the supermarkets. And the next one is Kewpie mayo and relish. So if you need to buy a relish, we just make it. Mum makes it. But if you want to buy one, caramelized onion relish was really, really good. And you can just get any one. Try a few different ones out. Okay, so the beef is done, the shepherd's pie, and that looks like the hottest thing I've ever seen. I really can't afford to touch that right now. But it does look good. And I already touched it, idiot. Now it feels like I'm working in the cafeteria. Ooh, that looks good. It's not gonna look good plated up because I would have ruined the aesthetic, but damn, nice. And you can easily make this lower in carbs by just adding less potato, using pumpkin, or if you want higher in carbs, sweet potato. Your lunch lady Zach, reporting for duty. It's like a whole mound of food, that's ridiculous. Okay, working backwards, time for brekkie. So, English muffins. So for the eggs, we're gonna go 2 whole eggs per plate and 3 whites. If you want, you can just scramble these all together, or you can fry the eggs like I'm gonna do today and just scramble the whites, which means we need how many egg whites? 3, 15. Is that right? Yeah. And I tried to find the liquid egg whites in Aldi, couldn't find them. Egg whites are honestly the most versatile protein source ever. I have them in desserts. If you sweeten them or add protein powder to them, it's awesome. And they're just literally straight proteins, and no carbs, no fats. Really handy. So I'm gonna start by cooking these egg whites. And I just like them by themselves, but if you want, add some cheese to it, low-fat cheese. But if I cook them in butter, I just like them. Here you go, mate. Don't eat it all at once. Okay, now obviously these need some eggs on them, so let me just sort that out. And finally, up to the dessert. So dessert is 200 grams of yogurt with half a scoop of whey, and that's actually factored into the price as well, because last time I got crucified for putting protein in. And then 100 grams of mixed berries, which is exactly 1/5 of this. So works really well. And if you're watching this wondering, hang on, does this guy not know how many days are in a week? Yes, I'm aware there's 8. I know there is 7, but I always would meal prep for 5 days, freeze 2 days, refrigerate 3 before I forget. I always forget to go over the logistics of meal prep. And these are defrosted too, how good. I've been cooking for like an hour. Divide this, usually 1 tablespoon is about 50 grams, so. And this is full fat yogurt too. If you want to go lower in calories, definitely go for a light option, but I figured we could afford to have a little bit more fats in here. Pretty much even Stevens. Because this with yogurt is so good. Heaven. And done. So overall for breakfast we have light breakfast, 2 eggs, 1 English muffin, 3 egg whites. For lunch we have a chicken salad with a dressing of your choice, keeping it low carb. And then for dinner we have a shepherd's pie with charisma, low carb potato mash and mixed vegetables. And then for dessert we have 200 grams of yogurt, half a scoop of protein with some berries. Okay, lifetime day rating. Okay, so just about 1800 calories. We have 165 grams of protein, 100 grams of carbs, and 84 grams of fat. I thought I'd keep it on the lower end because anybody can say, here's a 2000 calorie diet to cut on, but I feel like as soon as it gets below that, it tends to get pretty hard. So this is 1800, protein is hit sufficiently for me. And will this keep you full? I'd say so. I mean, worst case, you add more greens to meals. Sometimes I'll add vegetables to breakfast. Sometimes I've even grated zucchini into my dessert. You gotta just keep these things just in the arsenal just in case you wanna use them. But guys, that is pretty much it for this video. I mean, like I said, thank you to Lifesum for sponsoring this video. And if you guys wanna check that out, you get a discount off the premium version, which is sick. And that is in the description as well in the link. So you can check that out. But guys, that is it from me. Let me know what other kind of, if you wanna see more meal prep videos or recipe based, because this is kind of like last minute, whipped it up in Aldi when I was thinking about what I can do with the foods. But like I said, I've got nothing left for you, and you definitely know what to do. Stay massive. Slide into your DMs in the PM and the AM, then I slide into your feelings when you see just what I'm saying.